natural, and preservative-free with uncompromising standards. Cooked gently in small batches to create velvety textures and layers of flavor like no other caramel you've ever experienced. It is our sincere hope that you enjoy each Seuss caramel as much as we enjoy making it for you. I'm Tammy Fahey, and I never tire of hearing how much people enjoy my caramels. Please visit SeussCaramel.com to place your order and to see a listing of stores that carry our amazing caramels.
It's 9:06.
The views and opinions of the following show do not reflect those of WSMN, its owners, and/or associates.
Welcome to Inspiring Hope with Lois Hermann, a leading expert in professional coaching, clinical hypnosis, and energy clearing. Lois is an award-winning author of Chronicles of Hope. She has decades of experience in advanced hypnosis techniques, has conducted highly effective success coaching programs that have helped clients discover ways to achieve success, empower themselves, their families, as well as holistic practitioners to expand their practices. Get ready to be empowered with your host, Lois Hermann.
Hello, and welcome to Inspiring Hope. I'm your host, Lois Hermann, and I am here to inspire you with positive messages and celebrate everyday people who are making a difference in our world. When we focus our thoughts and energies on what we love to do, we create powerful shifts that cause us to be more positive and peaceful. As we lift our energy, we empower everyone around us. If we each do what we can to make small shifts in awareness, from kindness to healthy habits and simple happiness, we create ripples of hope. Join us as catalysts for positive change for our families, our communities, and our world at large. I hope you're inspired by today's show. And today I want to ask you a question. Have you ever been around someone who is so positive that you find yourself being uplifted and smiling for no good reason? Or someone who is so negative you feel a need to distance yourself, to move away? Energy is contagious. Even one person's energy has a ripple effect on others. People like the Dalai Lama, Mother Teresa resonate at very high energy levels and impact others in a positive way simply with their presence, be it physical or spiritual. A positive shift can result in those around them experiencing an elevation of their own vibrational rate. In my blog this month, I wrote about raising your vibrational energy. We are vibrational energy beings. Well, think of EKGs and EEGs. They measure the electrical energies of our bodies. We are energy. When our electrical systems are out of sync, these waveforms show abnormalities. We need to find ways to keep our energy balanced, positive, and healthy. Actually, all beings across the universe are made of vibrational energy. We vibrate at different levels based on various factors. In his book, Power versus Force, The Hidden Determinants of Human Behavior, Dr. David Hawkins demonstrates the energy of emotions on a logarithmic scale of 0 to 1,000, with 1,000 being enlightenment or pure consciousness. For instance, Mother Teresa resonates at 750. The energy of peace is 600. Love is 500. And energies of acceptance and forgiveness are at 350, really high. The mean is 200, which is neutrality, empowerment, and courage. Emotions such as fear, anger, and hate are extremely low-level emotions that resonate below the level of 150. The lowest level energies are shame and guilt, resonating at 20 and 30 on his scale. These low vibrational energies deplete our energy, restrict, constrict, and limit our mindset, which affects our choices and can destroy our lives. Dr. Hawkins' book is filled with insight as to the comparative values of emotional energy. For instance, in his research, he found that when we vibrated at the low-level energy of fear, for instance, everything we see through our lens of life will be fear-based. There may be other wonderful emotions and encouraging opportunities around us, but our vision will be laser focused. We see only fear, think only fear, attract more fear, and sink into the heavy abyss of fear. That's what's happening to humanity today. There's so much fear, negativity, and anger that's consuming our energy and depleting our health, our well-being, both individually and collectively. Raising vibrational energies systematically allows us to experience higher level emotions. For example, if we can lift ourselves from fear to courage, opportunities abound that were there all along. We just didn't see them because of the self-limiting lens of fear. Dr. Hawkins notes the energies of hope, willingness, optimism, and inspiration all resonate in the realm of 300s. You have all you need to raise your vibrational levels. As a seasoned spiritual and metaphysical teacher and a board-certified hypnotist, clients see me for issues related to low vibrational energies, especially those rooted in fear, which can lead to worry, stress, anger, insomnia, and addictive behavior, which all result in poor health. When individuals raise their vibrational energy through hope, they ultimately achieve a state of acceptance, contentment, and peace, which ultimately leads to joy and love, higher vibrational levels. It's really a straightforward process to assist those who possess the courage to want to change themselves. So you are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Hermann at WSMN 1590 AM and 95.3 FM. So I'd welcome you to take a moment and breathe with me. If you're not driving, please close your eyes and focus on your breathing. Breathe in through your nose to a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. And breathe out through your mouth like a straw to a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. And then repeat. Breathe in again and imagine being in a place you love, you enjoy, you find peaceful. Be at the beach, bathing in the forest, by a quiet, lovely lake, or snuggling in your bed. What sounds, smells, and sights do you notice? Really think about and imagine being there in your special place. Your mind is incredible. You can change your state of being just by using the power of your mind, your thinking, your imagination. Whenever you're worried, sad, frustrated, or annoyed with another person, take a moment and escape into your own special place, that special place in your mind, and really experience being there. In the Chronicles of Hope book series that I've been asked to write, the wise ones of the collective tell us humanity must raise our vibrational energy before it's too late. They are very concerned, and rightfully so, that humanity is headed in a negative direction, and we must change our focus to be more positive. We can do this. We must do this. The messages in Chronicles of Hope, the collective book 2, teach us specifically how to raise our vibrational rate, shifting our energy to be more positive, to heal ourselves, our families, our communities, and our world at large. Book 2 is being released this Saturday, 8/8 Lionsgate, for a special $1 rate. I'm giving it away. Please pre-register today for the discount link at chroniclesofhope.net. Push the button, and pre-register. We're looking to get at least 88 people by 8/8. Help us spread the word. We need to bring these timely messages to the world as quickly as possible. I hope you'll join me in helping to raise your vibrational energy level and in turn the world's collective energy to help save our precious planet and the life that lives in, on, and around her. Help me on this mission to bring peace to our planet. You are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Hermann at WSMN 1590 and 95.3. We're here every Sunday morning, shining the light of positive energy for you, for humanity. And today I'm delighted to be joined by a wonderful holistic nurse who knows firsthand about the power of positive and negative energy. Carrie Klaiber is a registered nurse and nationally certified massage, body, and energy work therapist who brings positive energy into her care for patients and clients. She believes we are enough. We have what we need to succeed, and we need to celebrate who we are and be happy. We need to shift our energy. Carrie, are you there?
I am. Good morning.
Good morning, Carrie. Thank you for being here. I'm delighted to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled.
So tell us a little bit more about yourself and your background.
Well, as I told you, I've been a nurse for about 33 years, and I've been a lifelong student of loving and being. I just feel so grateful to be human, and all the lessons that I've learned along the way have just brought me tremendous joy, and I want to share that joy with others.
Wonderful. So what stories would you like to share? As a nurse, you've seen a lot, you've experienced a lot. So tell us some stories about positive and negative energies.
Well, I think the message I like to share in my circles is that I've experienced life when I wasn't living. I was alive, but did not feel full of life, if that makes sense.
Yes.
We have tragedies, being human, traumas, and I got to places and spaces where I felt that being alive was just too hard. And I was uncertain that there was a way out of that feeling and that experience. And I had a loving community around me. I had mentors who showed me vulnerability through their own behavior. They showed me that by shining the light on the shadows of us, by accepting our imperfections amongst our perfections, we are enough. We are whole, even in our feeling of brokenness in those moments.
We are all perfect as we are. We're all unique. I like to say it's like there are no two flowers are alike, no two snowflakes, no two stars, no two humans. And oftentimes we're hard on ourselves for something we think is less than perfect. And that's truly just a part of who we are. And I feel like once we learn to accept those parts of us and just say, well, my thighs are larger than the average person, and that's just the way my body's built. When we accept the physical and the emotional stuff that we have that we perceive as less than perfect, when we learn to accept ourselves and embrace ourselves as our own best friend, those types of energies shift. Would you agree?
Exactly. I think that we learned to label what normal is. We've learned to put ourselves into categories and put others into categories as well.
Yes.
And this is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad, this is smart, this is stupid. On all the different ways we do that takes us away from remembering our brilliance.
And that's based on societal conditioning, societal norms, and that it differs depending upon where you grew up, what your background is, ethnicity, all different things. Having been around the world, there are different cultures that have different beliefs, and those beliefs are unique unto those cultures. And then in America, we have kind of a hodgepodge of cultures that collide and sometimes mesh and sometimes not. But it's about recognizing the unique differences within each of us and celebrating those differences.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, do you have any insights with patient care and with the people that you care for as far as how they can change their energies to be more positive? I know you and I had spoken about being in the medical, in a medical situation where we were torn because of patients' choices, people's choices, and helping them to navigate through their choices, inspiring them, encouraging them to make the healthiest choice for themselves.
Exactly. I think that having been a nurse and having been on the other side of the bed, in the bed as a client and a patient,
Yes.
I have an appreciation for the aspects of what it feels like when you are seen and when you are heard, and when you are not seen and when you are not heard. And so that's what I like to bring to my practice, is an opportunity to be a listener,
Yes.
because I believe when we are allowed to share our story and listen to ourselves and determine whether what we're saying about ourselves is actually true, or whether someone else told us that story about ourselves, do we still believe it? Does it serve us? And going through the process of really, instead of changing, expanding who we are and accepting that we have been where we've been, accepting that we believed what we believed, and then the opportunity to expand into something brighter and lighter if we feel the need and we have felt depleted.
Exactly. And I know for myself and many clients express that as they grow into a new level of awareness and self-acceptance and self-worth, they go back into old worlds, maybe with relatives or old friends, and they just don't fit there anymore because the old paradigm is that they want to put people back into that old box. And when you've grown beyond the box, it's hard to go back into that box.
Exactly. No, I think our families are such wonderful teachers in assisting us to determine who we are, because it's very natural. It's been generational that, I taught my kids and my parents taught me and their parents taught them a certain way of relating in a family. And we get a chance in this way now, when we look outside of that, to determine what parts of that relation is supporting and what part needs to shift.
Exactly. And what's coming to mind is a story that I've heard about a young girl watching her mother cut a roast, and she always cut the end off to put it in the pan. And the young girl asked, "Well, why did you do that?" And she says, "Well, I don't know. Go ask your grandmother, because that's the way my mother always did it." So the young girl went and asked her grandmother, and her grandmother, I mean, it goes on, but the end of the story is the grandmother says, "Well, I don't know why your mother is doing that, but my roast didn't fit in the pan."
I tell that story, Lois, all the time.
Do you really?
That is one of my favorites. One of my favorites.
And you probably tell it better. But the whole point is we mirror our ancestors, our relatives, our patterning, because it's just what we're expected to do. We don't necessarily, until we get to that youthful inquisitiveness to ask why. Why do we do it that way? That's when you've got the courage, the curiosity to potentially change, when you ask the questions and then get the answer that you don't have to cut the end off the roast if it's going to fit in your pan. Yeah.
I love that word, curiosity. I think it really is having a childlike approach to looking at ourselves with compassion and with possibility. Yeah.
You're exactly right. I know that that's a lot of the messages that come through with my clients, the wise ones, the guides. They always say, you take yourselves too seriously. You need to get back into that childlike wonder, curiosity, and awe, because we live in such a magical world. And children are so accepting of things around them. until they're trained to believe otherwise.
Yeah, they're beautiful teachers.
Yes, they are. Yeah. We talked also about, being in a pursuit of a clean and clear living with authenticity and integrity. Speak to me a little bit more about that. That was one of your, what inspires you?
Well, I think, again, it's back to the remembering our brilliance. I think it was actually quite recently, I'm getting closer to nature and remembering that we are nature, we are earth, we are made of minerals. Our bones are created from the same essence that earth is. Our blood has these electrolytes, and we just are so connected to nature. And the idea that we may have forgotten that, and remembering our creation, that we created ourselves in the womb, we decided without a directive, without a manual, I am creating my ear and my fingernail and my heart, and all of us was created without a manual. Our mother didn't tell us how to do that.
Right.
We have this innate wisdom within us that I think we've forgotten. And what freedom I really felt when that kind of aha moment came along, and I said, we just have this capacity that is beyond anything my limited thinking will ever understand. And the freedom that comes with that idea, that the possibilities of the future, of being in a different space and place, is so unfamiliar, we can tend to shrink back into what we know and what feels comfortable, even if we believe it's not our best.
And so our bodies are innately equipped to grow health if we give them the opportunity. And that's one of the things that Gaia said in the book is, I can heal the world if you just let me, if you don't work against me, if you can work with me. And the same is true of our bodies. If we give our bodies the environment, the body has that innate wisdom to grow earlobes, hair, skin, nails, a new liver every so many weeks. We regrow ourselves anew if we only allow it. So it's the process of feeding ourselves the right foods, the right balance of healthy water, healthy thoughts, healthy environment, right?
Exactly. I think that the closer we get back to remembering that we are nature and earth, the human being is such a blip on the radar of the life of earth. And the human species is like a 0.01% of the life forms on our earth. And so we play such a role, and sometimes we behave as if we're the master of the earth when it's just further from the truth. And so the earth has so much wisdom, the feeding us, the air we breathe, the relationship we have with the trees. If you look at a leaf of a tree, it looks exactly like the veins in our bodies. It looks like our lungs.
Absolutely.
There's just so much connection.
Yes, I just watched a special on PBS yesterday on Japan, and they talked about the forest bathing. And I recently spoke with one of my former guests about that. And they talk about people go into the forest, and the forest bathing therapist doesn't even know what's going on with the person. They don't even have to talk about it. Just the act of going into nature and getting quiet, that's the key, is just to get quiet and to reset with nature, reconnect with nature. It will recalibrate our electrical systems, our energy systems when we, as you say, become one again with nature.
I remember hearing something about if you go out and you camp on Earth for 7 days, your circadian rhythm is recalibrated.
Really?
And to take that time, our culture really doesn't really even know how to separate from our technology. I'm going to raise my hand. I am challenged myself. And I think that's why I can relate to the challenges that others have. Is I have the same challenges of feeding myself, nurturing myself, loving myself, fully trusting myself. And so I want to be in communion with others, hold hands with one another. I don't feel more superior in the capacity to do those things, but I do feel that the earth is a greater and higher teacher above, I'll say all.
That and you bring up a good point too. It's the community that when we can go alone, but going with a group of people that are truly invested heart to heart to hold each other. That's, there's a whole different energy when you're surrounded by people who are there to encourage and support instead of compete. There's so much competition in our corporate world, and I've been there. Even in the medical world, you and I both have been there. So much competition, and that's unfortunate because the way we thrive is with community, is with connection. And I just wanted to let the listeners know that you are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Hermann. I'm here every Sunday morning at 1590 a.m. and 95.3 FM. And this morning I'm here with a holistic nurse, Carrie Klaiber. And we're talking about keeping our energies pure and positive and keeping ourselves healthy and inspired. So, Carrie, what do you feel like you do to make a difference and inspire others? What is it that you feel that you like to do?
I really feel my purpose and passion in this lifetime has been to bring people together to assist us to remember our brilliance. And so I do hold community circles. I do offer opportunity to be vulnerable together in a safe space, to be out in nature, and creating, whether it's a circle, a workshop, a retreat, that allows people to try these ideas on, recognizing that they're unfamiliar, recognizing that there's no right way for it to unfold, trusting that the community is the remedy, the community is the prescription for all that ails our hearts, our loneliness, our sadness, our anger, our fear. I really am truly a believer that bringing people together is a valuable mission.
Yes, I agree that community is key. However, I would like to add a little disclaimer to that to me, I feel that it needs to be or should be a community of like minds. When you've got someone in the community who is there for different reasons, it tends to someone who is caustic or abrasive or has their own major issues, unless they're willing to be vulnerable, recognize and shift their energy, they can cause some damage. So selecting and choosing your community, I think, is a critical part of our healing. Would you like to talk about that?
What I've found very often is the invitation is received by those with some interest in making those shifts and adaptations in their lives. And if that doesn't come to pass in a circle or in a setting, then that just seems to flush itself out. And if it is called for, there are times when we need to talk about the elephant in the room.
Right.
We need to talk about when people are not respecting us or not when we're being abused. There's no doubt about it that there are energies that have self-fulfilling ideas that rights over me are theirs, and that is something that isn't welcome in a circle or in a community that I'm facilitating.
Right, and that's key, is to facilitate and to hold people accountable for how they are approaching one another, because there are some people who are so intent on pushing their agenda, and instead go ahead.
I want to thank you so much for the courage and the commitment you've made to the messages you send, because it does take courage to shine light on darkness, because when we do, it tends to create a panic and a fear for those that are hanging on to the darkness and feeling that that's a power. And so I thank you very much for taking the time and courage to open up the idea that these messages of light are available, because it's not welcome to every energy.
It's true. Not everybody is ready. I was listening to a special on the Lion's Gate. Have you heard of that?
I have heard of it, but I don't know much of it.
Well, it was interesting. I was listening yesterday. I just happened onto a YouTube video that was talking about it, and it's 8/8, which coincidentally is the date for the release of the collective book 2. I did not realize this when they chose that date, because they're all into the 8s. 8/8 is a celestial combination of a planetary alignment that is opening to people to cause them to ascend into a new area of awareness. And many of us that are that have been on this spiritual journey for some time, it will feel a little bit uncomfortable, and yet will feel like a sense of yes, knowing that there's change afoot. We are ascending. We are shifting into a new awareness. There are others that she talked about, the third dimensional people who just do not get it at all. They're still very, I want to use the word, stuck in the old way of it has to be this way. That mindset will feel disturbed by this big energy that's happening, but they won't get it. And then there are people who are in the fourth dimensional level who are on that cusp. They're sensing it, they're feeling it, they don't know what they're feeling, but they are going to feel it. There's going to be a big visceral emotional energy shift. And then the fifth dimension people are the ones that are going, aha, we get this. So that's what's happening. So 8/8 is the opening of Lion's Gate, and it is open for a week or two. I'm not sure all the particulars, but I just love the fact, or I was intrigued by the fact, that this big celestial energy shift that gives us the opportunity to shift our awareness to be more positive is happening just when we're releasing this book.
I love that. That's terrific.
And it speaks to what you're talking about. Different people are on different paths, and that's okay. It's just if you're on that fifth dimension ascension path and you're around somebody that's third dimensional thinking, it feels awkward. It feels uncomfortable. So you just have to honor and respect that that's where they are, and they will shift in their own time. But that way of thinking helps my brain to wrap around the differences in energies of people. Does that make sense to you?
Oh, it makes so much sense. Yep, I think that's the other thing, is allowing and embracing the fact that there are people and places that bring up feelings that we vibrate with or we do not, and trusting our body's, again, innate wisdom to recognize those differences and honor them. We don't have to sit in a place of discomfort to please the masses. We really can find places and people and circles and communities where we can feel expansive, not constricted.
Exactly. Well said. Well said. Now, you have some shamanic background, do you not, Carrie?
I have studied shamanism and tribal culture. I was really drawn to it, probably around 2007, and I watched from afar for about 3 years, trying to determine if it was a cult or if it was something that I wanted to be part of. And again, my guidance was clear that it was something that was going to support my growth and my expansion. And so I did. I studied with some phenomenal teachers and mentors. And that brings me back to why I believe I was drawn to shamanism, is that tribal mentality where the ideal in alignment tribe would see everyone having a purpose, no matter the age, no matter the gender, no matter the history, no matter the future. And I love the idea that a tribe each has its place and purpose, and everyone is seen as important as the other.
I know that I've experienced that with what I call Team Hope. There have been people with me on this. Has been a 4-year journey for me. I was thinking back about it, getting these books out to the masses. And there have been a team of people who have given of their hearts, their minds, and their energies. And each one is unique and different, and each one brings their own gifts. And it has been a phenomenal experience of people who have taken to and really embraced the messages that we are to share. And each person has their own role, and we support one another, and it just feels so blessed. We actually meet, just for people to be aware, we're welcome to other people who want to join us. We meet the second and fourth Thursday of every month via a Zoom meeting. You can get there by going to chroniclesofhope.net community and sign up. It's all of $10 a month. You can't even get a McDonald's Whopper for that. I obviously do not go to those places anymore, but because I think that would be Burger King. Anyway, but it's a wonderful place of common mind to come together and support one another. We call ourselves catalysts for positive change, where we're talking about the messages in the book, and then other messages, other spiritual-based messages too, to help each other navigate through this time of great chaos out there and keep our energy strong. And I know you have a community. Do you have, would you be willing, are you open to sharing where people can find you and your community?
Sure. So I call the circle and community Thriving Tribing currently. And my website is care4you.com. And I can be reached through that website most easily. And people are welcome to give me a call and see if the community and circle is in alignment with what they're looking for on their path. Yeah, you're mentioning of the chaos and having the capacity to find the calm and the peace amongst it is really the idea of, again, community. And the remedy is that in order to be living while we're alive, we must have peace and joy, or we're just surviving.
Right. And there are many people who are in that despair. And I know from my clients and from others in the community, we encounter people like this all the time. And just as I was mentioning early on, energy is contagious. And if you're around someone who is so dour and so negative and so fear-based, it can bring your energy down. So the key is to surround yourself by positive people to keep your energy strong so that you can, I want to say, use the word tolerate those draining energies if you must. Otherwise, avoid them. Avoid listening to the shows that are the news that is so dour. Yes, we have to understand some of what's going on in the world, but we don't really know what's truth and what's not at this point. The one thing that's true is when I go out and I sit in my garden and listen to the birds and connect with the trees and the plants, I feel good. So it's about what is truth in your heart, and surround yourself with people who will support your truth.
I agree. I also do know that I was one in the fear-based energy and the low vibration and the downward spiraling energy that was not supporting me or or I did not feel anyone around me. In fact, I isolated when I got to that place because I felt I didn't even like to be around myself, never mind around others. So with that in mind, I do want folks to know that if you're in that place, it's not that you are rejected from a circle of hope, but that there has to be an innate desire to find in that next phase outside of it. You know, we can be in that low vibrating energy for whatever reason, but that desire to shift that needs to be present, or you're not going to feel part of a circle or part of a community.
That's exactly right. That clients who come to me are the ones that have the most success with change, are the ones that truly are open to change. Those that are stuck in their old patterns and, what is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome never works. So you have to have the courage to step out of your comfort zone and to shift your energy to be more positive. And I want to ask your thoughts on Chronicles of Hope, because you've had an opportunity to read book 2. You've been digesting it slowly, which I love. It came to me slowly, so I had that opportunity. Can you please share your thoughts on what you have read?
I will. It happened to come in front of me at a time when I was feeling a bit tossed and turned in the energy of confusion and fear, and so it was so timely, and it brought such peace. And I'll share a little bit of what resonated and still I've been holding on to. And as I shared with you, I picked it up a couple of times because when I was struck by a couple of lines, I just wanted to sit with it rather than move through into another sentence even. It was so powerful for me. I think the language from Jesus and Gaia and Aurora are the three I'll mention today, though so much of it is poignant, is the meek shall inherit the earth message. I am taking to heart in my way, believing that those that are comfortable with who we are and grateful for what we have and don't need to blast loudly and strongly our power over others to send a message will prevail.
Absolutely.
I guess is the word that comes.
Yes.
And that brings me great hope and solace. And the message of Aurora was similar, and that's why I kind of linked them together. The gentle message and the human message of Jesus that we can send our message, and no matter how much love and kindness and compassion we send behind it, it can be twisted and turned by those who are not wanting to find the light in it. And so having the courage to continue to speak about hope, continue to speak about joy, continue to speak about love, no matter what.
Right.
No matter what comes back at you as you present that idea and possibility. That was very, very helpful and supportive to read.
Yes, I know that my background with A Course in Miracles that taught me that everything is an illusion has helped me to navigate the negative that has come through that, coupled with my wonderful team. Whenever, and this has been a 4-year up and down journey to bring these messages to humanity, because I made that commitment, and it has been often a struggle. And it's been my team that has been there to buoy me up, to keep me going, and to keep us going. Again, collectively, we're the human collective, the amazing energies that are around us, the positive energy collective that one would call the guidance, the God energy, is there for us if we just remember to ask. And it is challenging, because one of the things that I think it was actually Ray said, the God Ray from Atlantis, was that the voice of the negative is louder, stronger. and that's what gets heard. But there are so many good people out there saying things, in a whisper, if you will. And we need to listen to those whispers. We need to connect, because they said there are enough good people doing wonderful things. We just need to celebrate one another and connect with each other in order to make that message amplify.
Absolutely. I recently have been practicing suggesting, when I'm asked to support someone, whether through my nursing or in friends, to say, listen between my words, not to my words.
Yes.
Because the essence of the energy behind the words is so much more telling than the actual language.
I like that. I really like that. Wayne Dyer used to talk about the getting in the gap, getting in between, into the in-between. And I like that, your concept of listen to the energy between the words, because I sometimes am not so good. The physical me is not really good at recounting exact quotes from people, or even from, here's these books that I've written and these messages that I've heard, and I fall short at quoting them exactly. But that's one of the things that Jesus said, take these words and make them your own, which basically is what he's saying, put your own energy to them so that they don't have to be exact quotes. It's about getting the message, the heart message out there, that we've got to come together and support one another.
I think that was the other part of Jesus' message, is that he never intended to be worshipped. That was not his intention. And that we got confused. And when anybody is worshipped, we put themselves and ourselves, if we are the worshiper or the one that is worshipped, in a precarious position. And the message gets lost because, again, we've forgotten that we have all the information we need within us. We don't need an outside source, but we can find ourselves through the love of others.
Exactly, and that's a thing that I've wrestled with, because this book, it's not my book. This is their book. These are their messages, and I've just been the human that has said, yes, I will lead the journey. Yet my good dear Native American friend, grandmother Blue Crow, said, you're like the conductor. There's this amazing orchestra of people, Team Hope, that are really pulling through together collectively. And I've just been asked to kind of to spearhead this and champion this message, this mission. But it's not about me. It's about the messages to help people to shift into positive. I live by the messages, I use them, and I am so thrilled and amazed at how well they work. And others like you that have read these messages, each person, if you were to go to chroniclesofhope.net, the website, you'll see we had several people read the book in advance and give their review. And what's delightful to me is each person resonates with different aspects of these messages, as it should be, because they touch people's hearts and minds in a different way, and different ones, like you said, Jesus, Aurora, and Gaia, of course. You really resonated with Aurora, which I think in Aurora is the goddess of the dawn. And what was interesting in this thing that I listened to yesterday was she is instrumental in this whole, I didn't know this until I was listening yesterday, in this Lion's Gate. She is the one that's kind of bringing through this Lion's Gate. The synchronicities are mind-boggling to me. So
that keeps it very grounded, those serendipitities and connections that we can't create. You can't make it up. It's something we say, right?
That's right. You can't make this S up. Yeah. I call them God wings. These are these little fairy dust sparkles in the day that light my path, that light my way, that I look for and share gratitude. Whenever I see something like that, I have to stop and say, Thank you. Just like on my drive here, I was driving in behind a car that had a license plate that had 444, and 444 is the energy of the angels. So those are just little winks saying you're on the right path. Keep going. Keep doing.
So I don't know if I told you, but 444 is my number. In fact, I had my P.O. box in my last living space, 444.
Really? Yep. How fun is that? Yes.
Yeah, it's fun. And I noticed that on your Zoom address you have a 44 in there. So I was definitely like, oh, today's the day. This is a great connection point, no doubt.
It is. It absolutely is. And that's the actual book, the softcover, once it's produced, which will be later this month, will be available for $24.44. So this getting it for $1 is really cheap, guys. So you really, really need to help me get 88 people at least to sign up by 8/8 so that we can make this book a bestseller, so we can go viral, so that we can get it out to more people. We've got to get this message out to all those that are hungry for it. And so I thank you for your insight and for your thoughts on it. You and for Aurora saying that that Jesus' message that the meek shall inherit the earth is still the most likely outcome. That we need to come together, and together the gentle souls, the spirited ones, will be able to hold our world together.
Beautiful.
So what other thoughts did you have as you delved into the Chronicles of Hope, the collective?
Well, what I'd like to share is I think that the format that you wrote it in is so precious because you do share the message, then you reflect on the message, so you get that separation between when the message is being delivered and what your, I'll call it, human relatability conversation happens after, as well as my respect for how you held space when the messages came in. It really gave me, I'll say, ideas as to assure that you have those that hold space while you do your interviewing with the energies, because that is so valuable to have it grounded and not distract you in that process, and have people that you trust and believe can hold the space while that energy is moving in and out.
Thank you. And that is how we, as this group of my team Hope and the other hypnotists who have learned to do this energy clearing work, we work together as a team. So one person is holding the energy, keeping grounded. One is being asking the questions, is being the Columbo, if you will, asking just being curious, asking the questions, and while someone is free to go and delve into that other world. So many, I've been told that the work that we do is shamanic in a different way. There's so many different ways of delving into the shadow, which the shadow could be positive, could be negative. It's light and dark. It's about discovery, learning, shifting, and embracing our potential. Do you have a favorite quote? We're about to close today's wonderful session. Carrie, I'm so glad that you were here with me today and celebrating the birth of this baby. It'll be next Saturday, 8/8, save the date. So do you have a favorite quote, Carrie?
My favorite quote is the Marianne Williamson quote that says that our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens.
Thank you so much. And thank you, listeners, for being here with Carrie and I today. Tune in next week, WSMN 1590, 95.3 FM for Inspiring Hope with Lois Hermann. Till then, look up, stay positive, and be the light in someone's day. God bless.
WSMN 1590, WSMN 95.3 FM Nashua. Listen, watch, and stream at WSMN1590.com.
USA Radio News with Chris Barnes.
Now Tropical Storm Isaias is throwing heavy rain and gusty winds at southeastern Florida, but forecasters say their attention's already turning up the coast to Georgia and the Carolinas, where the storm is quickly headed next. Still, this Juno Beach, Florida woman says folks in her area were taking the warnings seriously.
So you see a lot of people and a lot of aisles that don't seem to have much toilet paper and paper towels and sort of